Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Georgia Street Weeklies. I'm Polly Fang from WOW TV, and this is Charlie Smith, Editor-in-Chief of Georgia Street Newspaper. Hi, Charlie. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Polly. It's great to be back on WOW TV.
Thank you for joining us. And can you tell us about what is going on in Vancouver politics this week?
A lot going on, actually. I'll start with the situation with the mayor's race. The first kind of serious candidate has stepped forward to challenge Mayor Gregor Robertson in Vancouver, and his name is Kirk Lapointe. Kirk Lapointe is a former media executive. He was a senior vice president at CTV National News. He was managing editor of the Vancouver Sun, and he was the ombudsman at CBC. And he also, many years ago, hosted an interview show on CBC TV. So he has a lot of media experience, a fair amount of management experience, and he's a serious candidate. He's talking about making government more open and transparent. He doesn't have political experience, but I've been impressed by the way he's campaigned in his first week.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. And also we know there's a little bit of drama going on in mayor's office as well. Can you update us on some of that?
That's a good way of putting it. A little bit of drama, Polly. This drama actually involves the mayor. It's quite sad that his marriage of many years, he's had a separation from his wife. And this has, the mayor's office made the announcement about this on a Saturday a couple of weeks ago. And so this is just one. I don't know whether it will have a big impact on the election, but it's created a bit of a distraction. One of the things that the mayor's office was trying to do was suggest that the NPA was trying to make an issue of this. In fact, it sounds like the mayor's office distributed an email from the vice president of the NPA who had written to one of the councillors and to the mayor about this situation. But at the same time, Kirk Lapointe, who's running for the NPA, has said that he is not going to engage in personal attacks in the election, and he has said if any of his members of his party do, he will step down as the mayoral candidate, which is, I've never heard of a politician making a statement like that before. And then he's also urged Gregor Robertson to say if members of his team make personal attacks, that he should step down. And the mayor hasn't responded to that. But at the same time, they're criticizing each other on policies. One of the criticisms that comes from Vision Vancouver, which is Mayor Gregor Robertson's party, is that the NPA is not tough enough in terms of opposing oil tankers in Burrard Inlet. You see, we're shipping oil out of Burrard Inlet, through the harbor of Vancouver, often to Asia. There is a proposal for a massively expanded pipeline, Kinder Morgan, that will ship oil from Alberta to Vancouver to Burnaby, and then it would go out. It would result in more than one tanker per day, which is a sharp increase. And the mayor says he's opposed to this. He doesn't have the power to stop it because this is something that is federal government jurisdiction. But he's saying, I am the politician who's going to protect Vancouver's beaches from an oil spill. The NPA hasn't really clarified where it stands on this yet in a concrete way. I expect that Kirk Lapointe will do this. Another issue is Kirk Lapointe has criticized the Point Grey bike lane, the way it was done. He says the NPA created many bike lanes, but what Vision Vancouver did with bike lanes was they actually put concrete barriers. So if you go over the Burrard Bridge, you go along Dunsmuir Street, you go down Hornby Street, you've got a separation between the bikes and the traffic. That was Vision Vancouver and Gregor Robertson's innovation. The NPA bike lanes were never separated in that way. There were some maybe on small areas, but not with big concrete barriers. So Kirk Lapointe, and the latest one is Point Grey Road, which has basically become a bicycle road, and traffic can't go down past McDonald. So what Kirk Lapointe has said is he didn't like the way that was done. It didn't involve the citizens, he says. Others disagree. Vision Vancouver says we had lots of public consultation. So this issue with the way the city is interacting with the citizens, Kirk Lapointe is making the case that we need a more open government. And
Yeah.
Vision says there's no problem. So.
Yeah, certainly these kind of things needs more opinions from the publics as well. And is there any ways that people can know a little bit more about these updates and then know how to make a contribution to these decisions?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to be an informed voter, one of the things you can do is when the election comes closer, they actually, all of the candidates will have statements on the city website, and it explains their financial information. You can even find out, what they own and how rich they are and how much debt they have. It's actually pretty good. We like it as reporters. The other thing is the parties' websites. So there are many parties in Vancouver, political parties. So they will have information about their candidates, and there's public meetings. So the major parties are NPA, which is npa.bc.ca, Vision Vancouver, visionvancouver.ca, COPE, cope.bc.ca. There's the Vancouver Greens. There's Neighborhoods for Sustainable Vancouver. There's TEAM, which is a smaller party. There's the Cedar Party. There are a lot of parties in Vancouver. And I may have missed one, but I think I've got them all. And so I think voters can actually get educated. It is possible to get educated. The election isn't until November, so there's lots of time.
Okay, thank you for telling us about this. Is there anything else you want to update on Vancouver politics? Any stories?
I think one of the issues that I'm looking at is the federal election in Vancouver, and that how that is going to unfold in the wake of a very serious federal news story where former Conservative Senator Mike Duffy, he's suspended right now, was charged with 31 criminal counts, including fraud. And so he was an appointment from Stephen Harper. He's going to go to court. His first appearance is in September. He's saying he's done nothing wrong. He may even call the Prime Minister to testify. The criminal case could happen possibly at the same time as the next federal election in 2015. So this is a big problem for the Conservatives, and I think that could have some effect here in Vancouver on their candidates.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for shedding light on this information to us. One more thing is, do you have any story to tell us about real estate in Vancouver?
Yeah, the real estate issue, that's always a big story in Vancouver, Polly, and there's a couple of things we had in the Georgia Straight this week. I wrote a story about these assessment appeals. What happens is the city of Vancouver, or the BC assessment actually will say, this is what your house is worth in their view. And then your taxes are based on that. You can appeal that because if you have a lower assessment, you pay lower taxes. So one of the big developers is Boza Development, founded by Nat Boza, who's a major player in real estate. He just bought the Empress Hotel in Victoria. So that company appealed 9 different units in the Pacific Point project, which is just on the south side of the Granville Street Bridge. And that company was able to get lower values on all of these properties. And it was the land. So it's a sign that BC Assessment is prepared to reevaluate land values in the downtown core, and that maybe they're even going down a little bit, which would be a big surprise. The other real estate story was written by Carlito Pablo, and this one was very odd and unusual, and it involved a real estate agent filing a complaint, a human rights complaint to the BC Human Rights Tribunal. He's alleging he was fired as the agent. He was listing a home for a black man, and the man of African descent allegedly told him, and this is not proven, but this is the claim, and it has to be heard by the tribunal. He said that makes the claim that the man fired him because he said he disliked white South Africans. Because, the history of South Africa was they were not very good to the blacks up until the end of apartheid in 1991, although subsequently, Nelson Mandela was elected president and everything changed. But this is, so he's filed a human rights complaint saying he was discriminated against because he was white. And this is going to be heard by the hearing, but the tribunal does have the ability to impose financial penalties, and people can, if they feel discriminated against, they can file complaints to the BC Human Rights Tribunal, and you don't even need a lawyer. Sometimes it can help, but it's not essential. Many people go before the tribunal themselves. So it is an option for people if they feel discriminated in employment, if they feel discriminated on the basis of gender, on the basis of physical disability. These are the types of things, and on the basis of race and religion. You can complain. So we'll see where this case goes.
Yeah, that's definitely not the best situation to be in, but it's good to know that you can file a complaint. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to update this week?
I think next we're going to bring on Craig Takeuchi, and he can talk about the Eurocontinent Film Festival in Richmond.
Okay, thank you, Charlie, and thank you for your time today. So let's talk to Craig Takeuchi next.